Inside the Backrooms, a horror game that tests your very limit not to scream at the sight of a black rope that seems to have Parkinson's running straight at you. In the Backrooms, your objective is to run, hide, and try to solve puzzles to get to new areas. Before you get to experience that joy, you have to pick a character. I recommend picking someone that you hate because they will be dying a lot. You start the game off running in the great state of Ohio, where a picture of an Ohio resident jumps you and sends you to the Backrooms. You wake up dazed and confused, surrounded by moldy yellow walls, with a constant sound of fluorescent lights ringing in your ears. Yeah, I suggest turning that off. It could be worse. You could have woken up in a Motel 6 with Ron Jeremy. Wander aimlessly, trying not to think on what the carpet smells like. Find your friends who are probably more scared than you are.
Yo, what was that behind you?
Dude, don't do that to me.
Come across arrows on the wall that will lead you to the next area. Find an IKEA dresser that has radios, drugs, and almond water to make your experience much worse. The dresser also has a folder with information of the entities that will be molesting you very shortly. Make your way to an area with numbers on the wall with an elevator at the end of the hallway, where my friends Nate and Earl have a collective IQ of that IKEA dresser. So it's all up to me to figure out the puzzle by spamming random buttons. I eventually figured out where the elevator sends us to a new and darker area, finding yet another dresser that holds 4 flashlights that I completely missed and went for the drugs instead. Walking a little ways, Nate gets scared of some bang where he sounds a little bit like a clown. Shortly after, we see our first entity, and we handle it like a champ. Luckily for us, that's just a smiley face, where if it wanted us dead, we would be. However, we walk a little bit forward, meeting the rope thing that I named Skrillex. Why? Because the sound of him running towards you is very, bassy. When Skrillex is running at you, you have a few options. Run for your life and hope he goes for someone else. Or go into these lockers that entities can't get into. Doesn't matter how close they are to you, as soon as you step into one, they will stop the chase and pretend you were never there. When I'm brave enough to step out one of these lockers, I find Nate waiting for me to go look at Earl's dead body, where we meet a new entity, the doggy. I quickly make my way back into the only nearby locker, where Nate joins Earl in the Shadow Realm. If you're not dying or hiding, then your objective is to wander around in the dark looking for a new room that may have puzzles. Coming across a TV that you could put on a VHS tape. Watch the newest episode of Grey's Anatomy. Instead of learning anything on that tape, we make our way to a radiation zone with paper telling us not to go in without protection. But like my parents, we go in without it. Finding useless junk on the ground, I start to feel a little woozy. When you die, you become a ghost that must find a door to come back to this hellhole. But you only have a little bit over 5 minutes to find the door. When we do find the door, we come back where we died at, and we're not alone. Stuck taking permanent damage with a dog that likes you a little too much. I don't know how we made it out, but we find ourselves with Skrillex and a dog waiting to say hello. I take the only locker once again and leave them to it.
Oh, shit!
Seeing the deaths and entities make my character have motion blur sickness. To fix this problem, you need to take drugs. But I decide not to, of my strong-willed DARE program back in middle school. So the best course of action is to commit suicide, and head back to the main menu to make a new character, with Earl switching genders, making it to a horse puzzle that gets us to a clock. Smiley face boy shows up and takes everyone out but me, though Skrillex and the dog shows up and have something to say about that. Getting in the lockers, Earl is the only one who doesn't get one. But he does try to get into Nate's locker. I wonder what that looked like.
You fucking cunt! The dog got me, bruh.
We find Earl after that ordeal, and he has some choice of words.
Y'all motherfucker, look, listen to you motherfucker, look. You and you. Fuck you and fuck you. But I also understand y'all's plight.
Deciding that Grey's Anatomy is our best bet on what to do, where Skrillex decides that's his favorite show and tries to join in. We lose Nate, and I'm stuck with Earl. Nate got off the game. Earl's still upset about the locker situation, and he gets off as well. A few days later, Earl never wants to play that game again. He even blocks me in real life. And Nate moves to Switzerland to never be seen again. I'm not lying on any of that, by the way. But wait, a strange figure comes out of the wetworks that has a particular taste in games. That's right, Grim, my cartoonist. I needed someone to play this game with, and I'm certainly not playing this by myself. But there's a problem. Grim doesn't have a computer. He has a Mac, and in my eyes, that's not a computer. He goes out and buys the cheapest rundown pile of piece of shit you could imagine. We plan to play at 9 p.m. When we do finally make it to the game, he ends up lagging and having connection issues. Going through the same thing, except when we make it to the IKEA drawer, I notice the flashlights this time. This is actually game changing because now I can see which entities is going to molest me. Seems to have a Christmas special going on. This adds gnomes to the game with Christmas presents, and snow that comes through the walls. At least I think it's snow. Beat the gnomes with snowballs, collect the presents, and bring them back to the tree. 5 more to go with 2 in each level. Yeah, there's just no way that's happening. Skrillex comes by and he wants you to sit on his lap. I have Grim go greet him. It goes about expected as I take the only locker. I once again try to grow some balls and lead the locker. I spawn in, looting my own body with Grim, but Skrillex wants to be Santa, where I run straight into death. Again, I come back scared out of my mind on what I see in the distance. Oh wait, that's just Grim. Doggy swinging his giant cock around the corner, but I run faster than him. It takes a bite out of Grim, so I try to make it up to him by giving him some tasty almond water. Well, Skrillex wanted that almond water instead.
Seen that coming right when I drank the fucking almond water.
Some legends say you can tame the doggy by having a staring contest, but that's a lie. As I'm looting my corpse, I get met with death again. Luckily, the next time I spawn is Skrillex and the dog looking for a snack, and I can outrun them in a fearful manner. I find something more terrifying than being a homeless man while stuck in Ohio, and that's a homeless man's ghost while in Ohio. Coming across a room with a bunch of paintings and a locker with a kitty picture. Symbolically, this means if you use a locker, you're a pussy. Wait a minute. Give yourself a seizure so maybe the entities will feel bad for you. Well, that didn't work. Skrillex killed Grim, so now it's touching his body. It's waiting for Grim to come back to get touched again, but breathing this time.
Oh, fuck me.
He now uses lockers just like me. However, I make him leave it just as the dog is coming so I can take it. Although, he does get payback on me.
Your face is right around the corner to your right.
Back to another episode on Who's Missing a Limb. Learn the names, put their limbs in place, and break the mirror. It opens the switches room, which is probably the easiest puzzle to figure out. Suit up to finally have protection in the radiation zone. Cleanse the area with the smoke thing so the door opens. Head over to the painting room and solve that to get some moth jelly. Turn the clock to its correct time, get the code to the lunchbox, get the pliers to make it to the next level. Grim disconnects, and I left, not knowing I could have just made it to the next level and start from the next run. Well, I hope you enjoyed my suffering. My name is Lando. See you in the next one. Later.
You're gonna get